evening, everyone, and welcome or welcome back to BLEMF24. Still an occasion worth celebrating. My name is Maggie Aronimus, and I am the Marketing and Publicity and Co-Development Manager here at BLEMF. Now, before we say anything else, we want to recognize our friend, Julie Lawson, a long-time BLEM board member whom we miss dearly. We are proud to present BLEM 2024 in her honor and in her memory. Now, a festival like ours is made possible through the support of our community, our board of directors, hundreds of staff and volunteer hours, and of course, our wonderful donors. In particular, we would like to take a moment to thank Harlan Lewis and Doris Wittenberg for their sponsorship of tonight's concerts. Thank you. For their strong support of our festival and our organization, we would also like to thank the City of Bloomington and the Bloomington Arts Commission, the Allen Whitehall Clews Charitable Foundation, the National Endowment of the Arts, the Indiana Arts Commission, Visit Bloomington, and the Smithville Charitable Foundation. Additionally, our partnerships across Indiana University provide essential support to the festival, including our founding partner, the Historical Performance Institute at the Jacobs School of Music. We'd also like to thank FAR Center and especially Sylvia Pandigada. FAR feels like a home to BLEMF, and we are so grateful to them for making this possible. We'd also like to say a very, very special thank you to Steve Sobiak at Bloomington Gramophone for all he does to make our online presence a reality. Please join us in offering a warm round of applause to these individuals and organizations who have helped make our festival possible. We'll be on to the main event momentarily, but would like to take a moment to remind you that a festival like ours is only possible with your support. With your help, Bloomington Early Music has once again been able to offer all festival activities for free to our community. We want to keep bringing this week-long celebration to Bloomington for years to come, but a festival like BLEMF costs about $60,000 to produce. To that end, our goal is to raise $10,000 this week to build a strong foundation for next year. If you like what you see and what you hear tonight, I hope you'll consider making a gift to support Bloomington Early Music. Now, we have many ways to support our festival, some of which you may have seen. These include the giving tree, which is hard to miss. It is both glowing and glittering out in our lobby. The way the giving tree works is you pull down a leaf that has an expense that we use to support our artists. These leaves range anywhere from $25 to our very sparkly leaves in the $5,000 range for festival sponsorship. So if you're feeling sparkly, we have options for you. Go ahead and pull down a leaf from the tree, and I'll go ahead and process your donation of support out there. At the donations table is also where you can purchase your lovely BLEMF shirts, and I'm terribly sorry to say that, actually, Lynn Schwartzberg, if you wouldn't terribly mind. Thank you very much. Lynn Schwartzberg, Vice President, excellent job modeling our new t-shirts tonight. Those are again available at our donations table. We also have a basket in the back if you are in a rush on our way out where we can collect cash donations. Now, thank you to everyone in this room for helping to make our festival a reality. Without further ado, I'll pass it over to board member Javier Leon to introduce tonight's sponsor.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Great.
I'm Javier Leon. I'm board member of Bloomington Early Music, among other things. If this is your first night here for this festival, welcome. I'd just like to point out, in case you're new, you see all this artwork up here. It's a result of a collaboration called the New Neighbors Children's Art Exhibit, which is in partnership between Bloomington Early Music, with the Exodus Refugee Immigration. And it's supported by Sci and Fine Art Supply. If you want to know more about these wonderful pictures and the way the project kind of came about, I point you to page 11 of your program. You can read a little bit more about this, and it's basically we've been partnering with Exodus Refugee Immigrations here because of the theme of the conference to kind of work and try to figure out ways in which this concert can kind of do further outreach within the larger community. Also, before we start, one large reminder, we are nearing the end of the festival. I would like to remind you all that on Saturday at 5 p.m. we will have the second annual youth performance by the Bentley Players. It should be a fantastic concert. In fact, some of the teachers and collaborators are here in the audience today. I highly encourage you to come and come to the concert. But let's get to the matter at hand. Before we talk about the wonderful things about this ensemble, we've got one small kind of program change. Regrettably, one of the original players who was in the program, Michaela Markey, will not be able to be here. She was a percussionist. But everybody else is here. This is the Bach and Beethoven experience. They were founded in 2009. They're based in Chicago. And I am really excited about this concert. You know, when we come up with themes for the festival every year, and we try to come up with new things that kind of helps us think outside the box and expand the bounds of what early music is, you know, you can kind of have ideas, you can have aspirations, but what really makes a festival theme come together every year is the kind of high quality submissions that you get and the many different ways in which the people who kind of make these submissions kind of come up with really inventive and creative and in many cases kind of daring ways of kind of reinterpreting the theme that we kind of threw out there as a suggestion. And this is one of such themes. As most of you probably know, Native music is not highly represented in the kind of early music repertoire these days, and it is fantastic to be able to have an entire program devoted to this. Not only that, but bringing this music to life, I think, requires a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, but also taking a lot of risks. And I do want to highlight the work of Brandy Berry Benson here. This whole program is kind of been put together by her as a kind of through composed piece that puts together settings, arrangements of Chickasaw and Choctaw hymns, social dances, and traditional songs throughout to tell kind of a story. And in the process of doing that, we will have not only performances of all these different kind of styles and genres, but we will also have narration in both English and Chickasaw. So without much further ado, please help me welcome the Bach and Beethoven experience. Thank you.
Because we are missing Michaela, and her part is so integral and necessary for some of the parts. Rachel and I have tried to fill in the gaps where we can, so please don't judge us based on a pro percussion things, okay? So that's the only thing we ask for this, but I am truly honored to get to share my family's story with you, so I hope you enjoy.
In the year 1813, a little girl by the name of Amelia, or Paula E. Shaw, was born near Horn Lake, Mississippi. Her father, Captain James Wolfe, was a chief among the Chickasaw people. From an outside observer, the land was as fertile and beautiful country as the eyes of man looked upon. The Chickasaws, like many of the other tribes, had transitioned from their nomadic ways to homesteading. Paula E. Shaw grew up among a people who now have established log cabins as homes next to their small farms of corn, pumpkin, beans, and potatoes. They still hunted and fished, and there were plenty of deer that grazed among the livestock. Their overflowing generosity and hospitality far exceeded the size of their humble homes. there is a green corn ceremony to celebrate the harvest, forgiveness, and redemption. The Chickasaws gather together in pairs, holding hands in a circle surrounding the lead singer. The drum is sounded 3 times, and the men and women swing each other around, exchanging partners, until they end up with their original partner. Continues to infringe on Chickasaw lands. As a Chickasaw and the daughter of Chief, Pa-E Shaw grows up among a people who are unconquered and unconquerable. Passes the Indian Removal Act. It is no longer a distant possibility. The Chickasaws will have to leave their homes behind. The Chickasaws band together to negotiate the conditions of their removal the best they can. Pa-E Shaw's father, Captain James Wolfe, and other Chickasaw leaders met with Commissioner General John Coffey at Pontotoc Creek to sign that fateful treaty on October 20th, 1832. With increasing hostilities from neighboring whites, the Chickasaws are oppressed and unable to stay in Mississippi, even if they wanted to. The chiefs declare that they prefer to seek a home in the West, where they may live and be governed by their own laws. The treaty outlines several conditions of their removal: that the U.S. government allow them to find suitable land to call home, that they can determine when they leave to go to that home, and that the U.S. government pay the Chickasaw Nation monetarily for their lands. The Chickasaws officially cede their 6 million acres to the U.S. government in exchange for a price and begin their hunt for a new home. The missionaries who were sent to live among them also share in the foreboding and imminent removal. While literacy learned from the missionaries helped the Chickasaw negotiate the best circumstances of this imminent removal, nothing could prepare them for what they were about to encounter. This would be the darkest, most treacherous 800 miles they've ever had to walk, and lives will be lost. Removal is no longer in question. The Chickasaws will have to leave their homes and everything they built in their homeland. Pa-E Shaw and her family depart from Memphis, on November 1st, 1838, never to return. Cross the Arkansas River, they sing together an old hymn to the tune Long Sought Home. Chihowa polakak oja, am paklu hogna, abayakni pila hoka, onala I uke, which means, because of God's mercy, I will be there in that distant heavenly land. home in Indian Territory, what is now Oklahoma. Even though it is desolate, there is new hope. The hymns the missionaries have taught them are a reminder of the hope they have in their Creator to reestablish a new life. One hymn in particular praises their Creator for their journey as they have pressed along to the glory of the new lands. She has caught Charlie's eye as he dances ahead of the men and circles around her. He comes in to steal her hand and leads her back into the circle. Shaw and Charlie declare their love to the elder and answer him that they wish to marry. He takes the corn and splits it in two, giving one half to her and keeping the other half as they now come together and enter their new home. It is a season of excitement and uncertainty as they are about to become parents and welcome into the world their new little girl named Mary. E. Shaw is drawn up to heaven to be with her creator. The Civil War rages on, and many of the Chickasaw men between 18 to 45 years of age have assembled to form the Chickasaw Battalion and fight for the Confederacy. Nearly all business and farming has stopped, and the war is drawing closer and closer to the Chickasaw home turf. He has been declared missing in action and is figuring out his next move. As he stops to rest by the springs, his eye catches a young Chickasaw woman by the name of Mary. Time stands still as they fall in love and imagine their life together. much as he wants to stay, John is bound to camp to finish out his service as a soldier. With a heavy heart, he vows to Mary that he will return as soon as the war ends to marry her. As they part ways, he looks up and prays, God above, oh, hear my prayer. Send me safely back again to the girl I left behind me. To Chico Springs to his love, Mary. Their marriage ceremony takes place at Bloomfield Academy as soon as it opens in January 1867. Reverend John Harpole Carr pronounces Chihuahua ina pisa pola mapo haka mecha ohoyo iti halali apisat anopa hochi onochi lishke yomaka. Jehovah at iti halalichi tuk'a hatak nana kia iti falamicho kashki, which means, by the authority of the Lord, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Therefore, what God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. As happy as the reunion was, their relationship was considered taboo at the time. So they were forced to live in a tent outside of the town because of their interracial marriage. But their family ties stayed strong, and they were blessed to welcome 9 children of their own, including a daughter they named Rosa Ella. was accepted into the tribe and was even given permission to erect his own grist mill and cotton gin. Together, John and Mary helped establish the town of Yarnaby. While John was never granted Chickasaw citizenship, he was included in the Dawes rolls as intermarried white and was considered a friend. The sixth child of her 9 siblings, and one of only 3 daughters that grew into adulthood and had children of her own. She was born in Yarnaby, Indian Territory, and watched her homeland transition from tribal country to a U.S. state. Oklahoma became a state in 1907, Indian Territory was no more. The Chickasaws were now U.S. citizens and no longer had their former tribal governments. When this happened, 2 types of citizenship emerged based on blood quantum. If you were less than half-blood, you were granted unrestricted citizenship, the freedom to govern over your own affairs and have the same rights as other U.S. citizens. If you were half-blood or more, you became a restricted citizen and a ward of the state, which was considered to be the worst fate of a Chickasaw. For fear of having her and her children's lives taken captive by the government, Rosa Ella officially registered as 1/8 Chickasaw and declared herself and her children as white in every census that followed, starting in 1920. To claim her true identity as a half-blood Chickasaw was now a matter of safety for her and her children. These fears were not unfounded, as they watched the children of their neighboring tribes get ripped from their parents' arms without consent and shipped to government-run boarding schools, some never to be seen again. The U.S. government had achieved total assimilation, or so they thought. Little did they know that the Chickasaw Nation would rise to become one of the most prosperous nations as they rebuilt their own government. The Chickasaw Nation was now a dependent sovereignty, and Chickasaws had dual citizenship, both in their own Chickasaw Nation and now the United States of America. It is 1908, the year after Oklahoma became a state, and a little girl named Elvira boards a train with her mom, dad, and two brothers. Her youngest brother is just over a year old as they begin their journey from southern Illinois to the Texas Panhandle. Elvira watches the landscape pass by, wondering what adventures await her when they arrive to their new home. that they will not be able to have presents this year, but they will still celebrate Jesus' birth. They arrive to Texas, where they are warmly welcomed by the townspeople and are invited to dinner. The children were delighted to receive corn-husk dolls and whittled wooden animals their new neighbors had made for them. They were able to have presents after all. Elvira has grown up on the farm with her family and is now of marriageable age. She is well loved by the community and is invited to many socials, dances, and church events. At one such social gathering, she locked eyes with a young farmer named Ernest, who had moved to Texas from his hometown in Oklahoma. He was just as popular with the community, and it was not long before they fell in love. census, just like his mother, Rosa Ella, he never let go of his Chickasaw heritage. In fact, Ernest and Elvira traveled often up to Oklahoma to find out all they could about his Chickasaw ancestors. Ernest was the last of his family on the Dawes Rolls and continued this mission until the end of his life, leaving his findings for his great-granddaughter to tell the story of Pa E. Shaw.